Okay.
Hi, I'm Sue Marshall. I'm president of Friends of Clark County. You might have heard that this is really an important election coming up here, and we just wanted to offer some information and talk about some of the races that we think are really important that are further down on the ballot than the big national ones that folks hear about. Before we get started, Jackie, you want to introduce yourself briefly?
Hi there, I'm Jackie Lane. I am also on the board of Friends of Clark County, which is a fabulous organization. I am a member of the League of Women Voters, and we are obsessed with giving everybody the information they need to exercise the right to vote.
Great. We think in Clark County, often it's been that people are, I think everywhere, people are voting, the races that they've heard the most about, and those races are big national, statewide, and that may be reluctant to vote on some of the other uh, uh, positions that are further down on the ballot, but really a lot of those positions, the local positions, have some immediate impact in our neighborhoods. And if you just vote the top of the ticket, you're going to be missing out on an opportunity to influence things in your own community. Jackie, you want to talk a little bit about the undervote and how it's played out in Clark County?
Absolutely. So undervote are those is basically the difference between if everybody who turned in their ballot had voted in every office and then what really happens. And so in a one of the races in our primary, for example, the number of undervotes was large enough that had all those people voted, the result and who we're seeing in the general might have been very different. And we get a lot of very close races. Had races that are under 200 votes difference, and certainly the undervote would have changed the results for those races. And so it's really important that you vote.
Great. Now, we're not here to talk about any particular candidates or do any endorsements or anything like that. We just want to provide information and resources, and you can make those decisions. You can take a lot of time or a little bit of time, but there's easy access points of information. So one of the most immediate, and sometimes this gets recycled before you get a chance to vote, but it's the voter's guide. And so I'm going to start really on page 52 in looking at, which is more than halfway through the voter's guide, and look at these local positions that people are running for. And I'll start with legislative districts. There's 3 legislative districts that make up predominantly Clark County. It's legislative districts 17, 18, and 49. And there's 1 senator and 2 representatives for each of these districts that you'll vote for your particular district. And you'll be able to find that information because that's the only opportunity you'll have to vote is for the ones that are you're in their district. Senators serve a 4-year term, representatives a 2-year term. Some of the issues that are going to be coming up, I think, for this session will be particularly difficult related to the budget. And there's a lot of strains on the budget given the COVID pandemic and the forest fires that occurred this past year. So that's going to make competition for those state dollars all the more fierce. And we still have a lot of pressure related to the pandemic that we're dealing with. But schools, all of the state services that are provided, affordable housing, probably be some issues related to affordable housing, climate change. Friends of Clark County is particularly interested in the Growth Management Act. Often there's bills that would undercut the Growth Management Act and, basically encourage more sprawling development. I'm a family farmer out here in Ridgefield, and that's been one of the reasons I've been involved with Friends of Clark County because they address those things. So there'll be good bills, there'll be bad bills, and depending on your perspective, there's also a lot of information so that you can track issues at the state legislature. And maybe we'll do another forum to talk about ways that you can access that information. Let's see, do you want to talk, Jackie, about some of those sources for information beyond the voter's guide?
Absolutely. So the League of Women Voters has a website called www.vote411.org, and they send out surveys to all of the candidates across the entire country. And those answers to the surveys are posted there. The local league has had input to the questions for our candidates. So those questions are relevant to things and issues that matter to us here in Clark County. And I really, really like that site for researching my ballot. I also rely on cvtv.org, which is where the League of Women Voters forums are, they're available live when they occur, and then they're there recorded for you to look at your leisure. And you can go check out which ones exist for the races you're interested in. There's also voting for judges, because it's hard to get information on judges. And so there's a site, votingforjudges.org, which is specifically for Washington state judges. And then there's, of course, your local newspapers, the Columbian, the Reflector, and the CW Post Record all have information because they do candidate interviews and recommendations, and they know the Columbian even records their interviews. So that can be really helpful information to use.
Yeah, I found checking out the Columbian interviews, so you can actually see people and how they respond to the questions, how they interact with each other. Has been really very helpful. And there's no other place, and particularly now that you can find that information. So getting even more local, there are 2 county council positions that are up for on this ballot. The county council, and that deals with all of the entire county, and there are 5 positions. They're each have 4 of them have their own districts, and so 2 of them are on the ballot. It's Council District 3 and Council District 4. Now, decisions that are going to be coming up, these are 4-year terms. In the next 4 years, the county is going to be addressing comprehensive planning. So comprehensive planning deals with, well, it's comprehensive. So it deals with just about everything: parks, and transportation, infrastructure, zoning, industrial, where things are going to be located, resolving conflicts, those sorts of things. The deadline for this next round of comprehensive planning is 2025. So these 2 people who are elected are going to be involved with all aspects and the final vote on that. So really nothing is more impactful to your neighborhood, your community, than comprehensive planning. And I think it's really important that people, do a little bit of research to see who among the candidates that are running share your values, because the comprehensive plan is intended to be our collective vision for the county. And so we need to get involved to make that happen. So there's those 2 council districts. And then the other thing that might be confusing for people is the Charter Review Commission. And there are, I think, about 50 people that are running for those positions. That will ultimately be 15 people that make up this Charter Review Commission. So just to give a little bit of background on the charter, in 2014, the citizens of Clark County adopted a new charter, and this really deals with the governance of the county. Notable changes where we went from being a county commission to a county council, and where there had been just 3 commissioners that were all voted county-wide, they added 2 more positions. So it's a council now of 5. 4 of the positions are geographic districts and 1 position elected at large. So the other thing that was a significant change was putting in place a county manager. So there was some separation from the day-to-day management of county business, and the council now serving in more of a legislative way. So part of the charter that was adopted included directions that it's been 6 years. In 6 years, there would be elections to form another a review commission in this case. And so we have the opportunity to have input on who serves in that review commission. And the League of Women Voters, really, I think they were the only ones that actually have and as this is on CVTV, you can see those who decided to participate provide just a 3-minute little summary of what they think the issues are that are important for them. So it could range from eliminating the charter altogether to tinkering around with it to make it stronger, related to the maybe ethics and whether or not they should be nonpartisan positions. So those are a couple of issues that have been talked about related to the Charter Review Commission. So you'll have an opportunity to vote for those folks, and you don't have to read about all of them. You can just select your district and learn a little bit more about them. But it's democracy in action, that we have an opportunity to pick this commission who can represent our views and values for how we want to be collectively governed in Clark County. It's a great opportunity. So Jackie, you want to talk some about the sources of information and voting particulars so people can know they're timely in their responses?
Yeah, so ballots were mailed out to everybody on the 16th. Most people have their ballots by now, and the elections office says if you do not have it by October 21st, you should be contacting the elections office to find out to get a new ballot sent to you. They added 8 drop boxes, so there are 20 some odd drop boxes around the county. And if you go to the county election site, you can see where those are and find the nearest one to you. I think for me, I'm halfway between a couple, one in Ridgefield and one at Battleground City Hall. You can vote until 8 o'clock on November 3rd, election day. You can mail your ballot, but if you mail it, you have to mail a little bit earlier to make sure it gets postmarked. So if you drop it in your mailbox at your local post office at 5 o'clock, you might not get postmarked in time and your ballot might not be counted. So if you're cutting it close, you might want to hit a ballot box. They'll be picking up the ballot boxes at 8 o'clock on November 3rd. You can vote in person at the elections office, and they're making special accommodations to keep everybody safely distant and accommodate people who are voting. And let me see what else is going on. You can register to vote right up until election day, which is handy. I think you can only register online by the 26th. So if you're after that, you need to show up. If you turn 18 by November 3rd, you can vote and you can pre-register. So you don't have to wait till you turn 18 to register to vote. So yay. I think that's that. And we talked about some of the sources of information that you can go to. And I have all this stuff on a deck I'll show later, and then we'll get that posted as well. So
great. So I think we're very fortunate that we have our elections so very accessible, and so there's no excuse not to participate. The other thing, on election night, you can go on the county elections website and actually start seeing results. that are posted. I'm not quite sure what time they post, but sometime after the polls close, and then it's updated daily, I believe. But
Mhm.
I always find that interesting to see how people I supported do, and sometimes it can go back and forth over the course of a few days if it's a close election.
And they're expecting a 90% turnout. Yay! So that would be a record breaker. And it'll be interesting to see, because one of the things with the results too is you see a lot of your late voters belong to one of the parties. So if it's a particularly close election, often one side catches up in the late votes because they tend to vote later. The other party votes earlier. We won't say which one.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. Anyway, so enjoy your research and check out these resources that Jackie's going to post. You don't need to do an exhaustive research, but you know, you can find out a little bit more, particularly those local races that are really going to make a difference in your community, and so important to weigh in on those.
You want me to flip through the deck real quick so people see what we're posting?
Yeah, why don't you flip through, and it doesn't have to be really quick. Jackie is about to share.
Here we go. So vote. This is information about where the drop boxes are and elections office. These are some of the offices that are up here. I didn't note the Clark Public Utilities, but it's uncontested. There's just one person running. And
Oh,
also,
so there's a couple more legislative districts there. I didn't mention 20 and 14. So they just have a part of Clark County.
yep. One's to the east and the other's to the north. Votewa.gov is a great place to get the voter's guide, check your ballot status so you can make sure they've got received your ballot, check your voter registration, all that sort of fun stuff. Vote 411, that's the League of Women Voters site, and they have sent out surveys to all candidates. So I always kind of look and see, what did people answer to those surveys, and also who answered, because I don't think you should diss the League of Women Voters. Voting for judges is a great site. It's one of the few places you can get good information on judges. The Clark elections thing, you can find out where your ballot boxes are. Election results will be posted there, information on accessible voting, and a lot of other good information. And they also have a really cool little video there about how your ballot process is. So with all the fuss about how safe is your ballot, I will tell you, your ballot is safe. The process the Clark Elections Office uses to manage and secure your ballot is really outstanding. CVTV we talked about, and that's the candidate forums. You can look at city and county meetings, candidate interviews, and a video voter guide. And then other resources include your local papers, candidate web pages and Facebook pages, and political or other organizations that share your values. Who's endorsing these candidates? What kinds of questionnaires have they turned into other organizations? And then after you vote, you can look at the election results. If you're looking at the congressional or statewide, you want to look at the state election results page. And then I talked a little bit about the undervote there. So vote. Oops. Well,
Great.
Sue, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. I've already voted, but we'll hopefully run this over and over again right up until election. So
Thanks.
see you on the other side.